Hey there, my name is Shane Craddock, and this is the Inner Edge podcast, where I share a different take on how to lead and live a sustainable, high-performance life. Over the course of different episodes, I'm going to challenge the belief that tension, stress, and struggle are essential to success and creativity. My experience is that there's an easier way, there's a better way, and indeed there's an essential way that we need to explore for the times that we live in. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and explore. Hi there, welcome to today's episode, which is all about luck. And I suppose on a very simple level, who doesn't want to enjoy more luck? Who doesn't want to be more lucky? But can you create luck? Or is it just the way you look at things? What do you think? So for me, definitely from what I've seen from my own experience, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of, I suppose, research as well today, it does seem to me that good fortune and good luck is definitely linked to your outlook on life, i.e. your mental attitude, your inner element, your inner game. Now, I think we all know people who seem to be very lucky. I mean, sure, if you think of one of your friends who just seems to land on their feet all the time, no matter what, right? I mean, I'm thinking of one person in my life, actually, just they always, we call them the cat that got 9 lives because they always seem to work their way out. Things seem to happen in a good way. But what is that? Like, is it a real thing? I mean, is it, if you think about an outlook as well, like, what's your outlook on life? And outlook is an interesting word because it means that you're inside looking out, which obviously from my point of view, I like because that's playing into the inner edge. But it does seem to me, just on a very anecdotal, experiential level, it does seem to me that the opposite is also true. As in, if you're down or you're pessimistic or your outlook is very negative, it does seem that worse things can tend to happen to people who have that. I know myself, when I was going through my depressive period, it just seemed to be, there's another thing. There's another thing now that's happened to me. And now you can actually argue and say, well, is that just the way you're looking at things? I mean, those things are happening anyway. Somebody who's lucky-minded or has a healthy mental attitude or definitely more focused on the glass being half full than half empty, they'll kind of spin it whatever way. I don't know for sure. But it just seems to me that somebody who has a healthy mental attitude definitely seems to get more good things happening to them. Now, I do recall reading a book many years ago, I think the early 2000s, by a guy called Dr. Richard Wiseman, and it was called The Luck Factor. And I kind of rooted out that book in advance of this episode to see, okay, what were the key things that he said from his research of looking at people who are lucky and people who are not. And here's just some of the key nuggets. He's concluded, now obviously this is 18 years ago as I'm recording this, that some people are definitely lucky and some people are definitely not. But it's got nothing to do with mere chance. What he has shown, or what he showed, was that it was primarily to do with their mental attitude. Now, he said, like, lucky people definitely didn't score higher on IQ tests or anything like that. Although he did say that he found that unlucky people were definitely more superstitious than lucky people. People who got a lot of luck actually expected their lives to be full of luck and were always on the lookout for more, right? And one of the things I remember he recommended was to keep a lucky journal where you'd record things that were, that was good luck. So what you're kind of doing in a way is priming your mind maybe for the opportunity for luck, I think is another way of looking at it. Definitely he also showed that people who consider themselves very lucky paid a lot more attention to their intuition than the people who were unlucky. So they were very much kind of tuning into a gut feel, an intuitive feeling. And they were always on the lookout for an opportunity to avail of luck. Now, that ties in, if you've listened to some of the other episodes I've spoken about, say, my entrepreneurial clients, without a doubt, the best entrepreneurs that I've ever worked with would always have this default question at the bottom of their mind, no matter what the situation or how bad it might look, is where is the opportunity? So that ties in as well to luck. The other thing that Wiseman found was that lucky people never saw setbacks as final outcomes. They just look for an opportunity to start working again towards a more positive outcome. Again, healthy attitude. Hi there. I just thought I'd let you know that this year I am going to be bringing out my updated version of Questions for a Great Year. So this year, because it's 2022 coming up on the horizon, we're going to have 22 questions for a great year. The workbook is going to be called Win Bigger, because that's my theme for the year. Win bigger in all elements of my life for true success, I guess, is the way I look at it. So if you're on my mailing list, which you can access at ShaneCraddock.com, 1D, you will get access to that workbook for free. If you're on it. If you're not on it, I'm just flagging it to you here. There's no pressure either way. You can always go in and then opt out when you get the workbook if they're so inclined. But either way, it's 22 questions. I love questions. The right kind of question with the right mindset at the right time can unlock magic. And I'm giving you 22 very powerful, clangery questions, I think. I prefer putting my mind onto questions than anything else, especially problems. So questions can unlock magic. Anyway, if you'd like to get them, if you're on the mailing list, you're fine. If not, go to ShaneCraddock.com, opt in. You'll get them over the next while and see what you think. Definitely, though, from my point of view, it'll help you set you up for a very, very strong positive year. Back to the show. And ultimately, he concluded that with a kind of a commitment to improving your attitude, your outlook, that you could retrain your mind, you could retrain your thinking, and ultimately improve the quality and quantity of luck in your life, which is pretty cool. Now, this week on my Inspire Me email, I shared a story about my experience of watching the Formula One Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi, the one in which Verstappen sensationally overtook Hamilton on the last lap. Hugely controversial circumstances, not even going to get into that. But the thing that I took out of that for myself was how focused Verstappen and the Red Bull team were on doing everything they could against all hope. And as Christian Horner said, I think at some point in the last 10 laps, like, what we need here is a miracle from the racing gods. And they got it. Now, you could say from Verstappen's point, it was incredibly good luck, but it was a classic in terms of that quote where they say, when opportunity meets preparedness, that's good luck. Opportunity meeting preparedness. So they were working, preparing, changing tires when they didn't even need to, taking pit stops just in case. And then the mother of all good luck happened. Now, you could flip it on its head and say, from Hamilton's point of view, that was the mother of all bad luck, which it was. Excuse me. So which way do you look at him? I'm curious to see how, I'd be curious to hear how, because you would assume that Lewis Hamilton would have incredibly good attitude. So I wouldn't think it's down to that there with him, because he's an incredible performer, an incredible achiever. I would say a mental giant as well in terms of concentration, but that's what happened. So it just shows you that it's not always about having, somebody who's positive against somebody who's negative. At that level, it's just nothing to do with that, but it is to do with preparedness. And again, it's that opportunistic mindset. And I suppose the key lesson for me, and the one that gives me hope, is that, even in the midst of trying to do stuff, of trying to get things done, you're going to have days where you're going to go, no, is it worth doing this? Should I just give up? Maybe the hope dies. But if you take that Verstappen attitude, the Red Bull attitude, and say, no, let's just keep going, waiting for an opportunity to emerge. And that, going back to what Dr. Wiseman said, was that's the key mindset for somebody who gets a lot of luck, is that they are assuming that it's going to happen. At some point, something's going to open up, and then they'll grab it. And everybody else will say, oh, that was great luck. But really, the preparedness element of it there, and that mental attitude of looking for the opportunity, is really essential. It's really essential. So in terms of bringing it back to you, which is the most important thing, of course, isn't it? How lucky do you think you are out of 10? If 10 is really, really lucky, how lucky are you? Score yourself. And if you're not a 10, or if you're below an 8, there's definitely room for maybe you to tweak or experiment with maybe your attitude, or thinking about where can you just assume good things are going to happen and just keep going, don't stop, or get back in the game. Because again, just like the Red Bull team in the Formula One race in Abu Dhabi, what if you just prepared for an opportunity to emerge? What if you just kept going under the assumption that opportunities are going to emerge? One of the quotes that I love, and I don't think it was Vinnie Jones who said it, but I do tend to associate it with him, because Vinnie Jones played for Wimbledon, Premier League footballer, very tough, famous photograph grabbing Paul Gascoigne by the you-know-whats, really tough operator. Then bizarrely decided, I'm going to make it in Hollywood as an actor. And you've probably seen him in some movies. Not sure you could say he really acts, because I always think he's just playing himself, but I really admire what he's done. But I remember him being interviewed saying, like, well, God, the interviewer said, or the journalist said, you're very, very lucky, aren't you? And Jones said to him, yeah, it's a funny thing. He said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And there's definitely something in that, but I think it ties into everything that we've said in the minutes preceding that point. So in conclusion, I think a commitment, definitely commitment, and steady work with that kind of approach. You can retrain your mind, you can retrain your thinking and your mental attitude to improve the quality and quantity of luck in your life, without a doubt. And I think luck, as it turns out, certainly from my experience, seems to be very much an inner thing. Okay, listen, thanks for being with me. Bye-bye.